Hey everybody, it's Durger time. Thank you for joining me once again for another episode of Ring of Honor Resurrected. We had a fantastic it wasn't fantastic. It was a pretty good pay-per-view. I was happy with it. We could have got a better score overall, but I kind of expected that to happen. Resurrection did very well. It didn't do great on the buys, though. It did fine, but we didn't get any pay-per-view revenue, mostly because of how our pay-per-view structure set up. We were on HBO, so we got, views from that, but we didn't get a lot of money. So that's kind of a bummer. That's a real big bummer for us in terms of just not getting that money. Obviously, we're cushioned by AEW, but we want to try to make money if we can. We don't want to be in a situation where they drop us because we become too unprofitable. So that's always something that we are looking at, something that we're keeping in mind. Overall, though, it did very well. Now, I've been trying to figure out whether I want to do a monthly pay-per-view or, every couple months. I don't know yet. For now, I'm going to skip June's pay-per-view, which would have been War of the Worlds, which used to be the Ring of Honor New Japan Combo Super Show. I'm not going to do that one because we don't really have that relationship with New Japan. We could do alliance loans, but it's difficult when we're in debt because if you try to do a loan, they're going to say, absolutely not. You don't have the money for it. We ask for them. You don't have the budget for it. So that's certainly an issue that prevents us from running a big super show. We, of course, could hire people, if we wanted to go and, for example, we wouldn't get everybody, but we could probably scale out a lot of, what am I doing? I want to go into workers. If I were to look here and I were to go New Japan, available wrestlers that can work in the United States that I have the intention to hire. And I went here. Okay, well, not that many. Actually, it looks like in this mod, they've locked down a lot more of their contracts. Unless I have another setting that I didn't realize. Let's see. No, I don't think so. So, not that many. Certainly some. You could have Tongaloa and Tamatonga, Zack Sabre, Jeff Cobb, Kenta, El Fantasmo, Chima, apparently. Chase Owens, Bad Luck. I mean, you could basically get the Bullet Club guys. You could run a show. You could run a really loose show. Problem is, actually, they just don't have a lot of people that are available. Most of these are probably under exclusive contracts. They are. So that, doesn't help us. Obviously we have Minoru Suzuki, but we wanted Okada, we would need to get a alliance loan, and we don't have the money for the alliance loan. So we're not going to run that pay-per-view, and then that's going to give us some time to think about whether we want to do 12 pay-per-views a year, 6 or 4. I'm leaning towards 6, and I think that would work well to do every other month, have a pay-per-view event. 4 feels like it's a little too spread out, and we don't have enough going on, and I think we're losing money, we're leaving it on the table, so to speak. But 12 just, I think, is too much for what we are as a company. I think it costs too much money to run, looking at the lack of pay-per-view sales that we're getting because of the way our setup is. We're getting money from the broadcast revenue, but, we're not getting a lot, right? We're not going to get those big pay-per-view buys. Clearly, we did not here. So we have to kind of keep that in account, that it's a costly show to put on. And I think 6 pay-per-views a year probably make the most sense for the product at the time. So I think that's what we're going to do. Now, we do have some morale issues, minor irritations. We're not going to throw money at these. They're all upset that they were not on the pay-per-view, which totally makes sense. I tried to get everybody on that I could. I thought Suzuki was on the pay-per-view. I thought he came out for the challenge, but I must have had him set for an off-screen appearance by accident, and so that's where that came in. And Cabana and Cage were not on it. We also have Silas Young leaving tomorrow, so I can't negotiate. I'm going to pick him back up. His contract's cheap enough. I think he's a good hand to have, to do stuff with. So I'm totally fine with him swinging back in and hanging out with the roster here. If we're talking about pillars of Ring of Honor, I don't know if necessarily Silas Young is a pillar of our Ring of Honor, but definitely a known name that we want to keep around for a while. Obviously your Jay Lethals and your Dalton Castles are definitely pillars that you kind of, are major focuses of what the brand was and is. A personal goal of mine will be to move Dalton Castle up to star. So we're definitely going to work and continue on this Joe Hendry storyline. My goal with this storyline is to get Joe Hendry up to well-known and to get Dalton Castle up to star. Because I would love to, in the future, book a Dalton Castle run. That is definitely the goal there. But otherwise, everybody else is fine. The Briscoes are our champions again. And obviously that's going to lead into another, storyline, this time with the Bucks and all the drama. So we got some interesting things coming out of that last pay-per-view that I think are going to be pretty interesting. I think we're in a good place to book some interesting stuff. Obviously, we got Jonathan Gresham's betrayal of the Foundation against him, kind of making him an uneasy ally with Samoa Joe, who just became the world title holder. Mercedes, we decided to give her the belt. I was kind of back and forth on that. Jazim shows up to be Joe Hendry's muscle and ends up allowing Hendry to beat Castle. Daniel Garcia defeats Tracy Williams, and then once Suzuki, and so we got a bunch of stuff going on. Jordan Grace kind of debuts. Briscoes became champs, and the Young Bucks interrupted them. Looks like we're going to move to a 3-way. Flip Gordon debuts, kind of starts a feud with Tony Nese. And then also we have Leo Rush's challenge getting called out by Bandito after he had some words about Mexico. So some interesting things, a lot of storylines that we have going on. That's definitely what we want to keep going. So let's go ahead. Let's sim on over to our next pay-per-view and or our next event or next show and see what happens. All right, guys, we are back. Some interesting news popped up in between our sim. Looks like Eric Bischoff and Tony Schiavone are retiring in our save. So that's kind of an interesting. That Schiavone wasn't the one I would expect of the AEW announcers to retire, but that is interesting. We also got our report back Tri-State Battle. We were first out of 3 in the Tri-State region, so that's pretty good. It gives us a little bit of a boost. Suzuki's fully fit. And also, our Ring of Honor Pure title, which is an Alliance title, changed hands. And Wheeler Yuta lost it, I guess, on AEW. And Matt Sydal has it, which is bizarre. Not a great name for us to lose it to, just simply because I think we have Sydal on our roster already. But it would be interesting if, a major name had ended up getting it, because we could end up using them for free, which is a nice workaround. That is one of the reasons why we have the Alliance titles as they are. So, we could get Kenta like we did before. We can get Adam Cole in. or Seidel. Some of the downsides with this, of course, are that you do not control the fate of those belts, so it's difficult to work stories around them. But for as long as they have them, you have some interesting options there. So an interesting change. Does not really affect us. It kind of hurts Yuta, unfortunately, a little bit. But that is what it is. He only got like a defense. It looks like 2 defenses in. So kind of a bummer there. I mean, technically we could just have a rematch, but we have other things planned for Yuta, so it's fine. We're 11,000 in debt from last month. We lost 72,000 total for the month, which is a big bummer. Cash at end was not great, so it's definitely a financially not a great situation, but it is what it is. We also brought back Silas Young, so we got him back in already. Very easy, very simple grab. So we're ready to go. Let's go ahead and let's book a show. All right. No backstage incidents, some locker room control. I'm going to use the open forum. It's going to boost down our locker room rating for a little bit, but it's going to alleviate some of those irritations people have. So I'll let Colt Cabana kind of vent, just say, hey, I'm pissed off, and just an open meeting. Suzuki does the same. That's terrifying. And Cage does the same as well. It probably doesn't remove this, but they are pleased at getting that off the air there and kind of, getting that out of their system. We could do that a couple times and probably remove these without issue. So that shouldn't be a problem. And where are we going to be? Mid-Atlantic. It is good spot for us. 47. I think I want to use that boost we got from the Tri-State, though. We got 38 there. If we were to go to the Mid-Atlantic, we're getting less fans. So let's get more fans. We'll select the best option for venue. Go to the Elks Lodge. Get that boost of viewers. Get extra tickets. I forget what our tickets are set at, but I perhaps could check. Cheap. So, we're not making a lot. TV show tickets like $11 a head. We're not doing bonko bucks here, but a little bit extra capital's not gonna hurt here. And obviously it always helps to have more eyes on the product, so that's always one of the goals. All right, let's go ahead, let's book this show, see what is in store, and I'll catch you guys on the flip. All right, guys, we're ready for Ring of Honor Wrestling. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we have for this 95-minute show. Not too much going on. I mean, there's actually a lot going on, but not, everything I would want, but we can't do a 2-hour show, so it is what it is. Let's see what 95 minutes can do for us. We start the show off with Jay Lethal and the Foundation showing up in the ring. The crowd is not too pleased to see them, but he quickly hushes them with a shh, shh. Kind of gets them all silent. And he goes, I know. We got to talk about Resurrection. And the crowd gets all furious again. Obviously, Jonathan Gresham got betrayed by the Foundation. The Foundation is here with him. All members are with Lethal except for Gresham. It's clear that Jay Lethal has usurped the throne of the Foundation. And he addresses that. He's like, well, you could see there's been a change in management in the Foundation. An organization here that was all about restoring honor to Ring of Honor. Well, that mission is over, because there has not been honor in Ring of Honor for quite some time. And the crowd boos. the chaos this company has brought upon itself. What poor champions it championed about. Gresham, the size of an oversized toddler. And now Samoa Joe, the sellout who only came back because he sucked too much as an announcer. It's time to rebuild Ring of Honor and restore order. It's time to rebuild the foundation from the ground up. And it starts with you, Jonathan. I'm going to show you what true talent looks like. I'm going to show you what the majesty of Ring of Honor can be. I'm going to show you what a true Ring of Honor champion looks like. And all it needs is a new right leadership. So we advance the storyline. We get the crowd off to a strong start. Lethal has them pretty good. Only 52 is kind of shocking. I feel like anytime Jay Lethal talks, it should be like 99. But we might have to look at it. I've been still tweaking people in the mod, and I might need to look at Lethal because I'm kind of shocked that this did not get us higher, honestly. But it did do what it needed to do. We did set up some future between Gresham and Lethal. Obviously, there's an interesting three-way dynamic here of Joe wants to go after Samoa Joe, or Jay Lethal wants to go after Samoa Joe because he hates him. He wants the belt. We got Gresham, who Lethal also wants to kind of put in his place. Gresham obviously is going to want to fight to reclaim the Ring of Honor Championship, and Samoa Joe's, the champion. So kind of an interesting dynamic between the three of them, and I'm not even sure where it's going to go. If you guys have ideas, let me know. I don't know if it's going to be a triple threat or what, but we got kind of a dynamic building there between all three of them that I'm kind of interested in. We have a pretty poor match. It dragged in the middle, lack of flow being noticeable. That's good to know. Joe Hendry and Jazim Salmani defeated Bear Country 20 minutes. Jazim had pinned Barrett Bronson in the match and won. Obviously, he is Joe Hendry's new muscle that he brought in to win. Jazim had a 52. Hendry had a 49, 48, and 44 for Bear Bronson. Match itself got a 38. Got a penalty for being having a lack of flow in between. We had to do a 20-minute match because Jazim is considered a major star already. So we would get penalized otherwise. Interesting that we had that lack of flow. I'm not really sure what that hit us for. Might have been the domination for the lengthy match probably hurt us the most. Limited psychology involved. Also, probably maybe we should have scripted the match. Would have helped. Something to know. Maybe we script them, see how we do. Unfortunately, 38 is an underwhelming rating for us here. We get a better-ish segments. Green. Anything green for me is good at this point. Hendry celebrates in the ring. Jazim just kind of stands there unamused. He's there. He doesn't seem necessarily thrilled to be with Hendry, but he is. Hendry is gloating. He goes, what a glorious day in Ring of Honor. Last Sunday, we showed the world who the true bastion of entertainment is in Ring of Honor. And it was never that loser, Dalton Castle. It was me, the prestigious one. Joe Hendry, master of the music, master of the English Greco-Roman style, and now officially the most entertaining wrestler in all of Ring of Honor, and of course, finally freed of the shackles of being associated with that loser, Dalton Castle. So, he's healing it up. We advance the storyline for Hendry and Dalton. It's not over, obviously. We build that up there. 47, not bad. We also have a pretty decent little vignette segment. Briscoes are on their farm, on their ranch in Virginia. You got them holding up the belts, doing Briscoe shit. Jay's talking to the screen. Mark's acting like a lunatic back behind him. If you've seen the Briscoes, And Jay's like, the belts are back home, baby. Sweet gold here. We dine like kings tonight, but we know the fight ain't over. Young Bucks, FTR, this ain't over. We know that. You know that. We'll be seeing you. But know that we are the heart and soul of Ring of Honor. And we are not going to let you off that easy. We're not going to let these belts leave our sight that easy again. So you two figure out who it's going to be. And we'll face whoever the fight needs to be. So Briscoe's happy, kind of declaring they're not going to let the belts slip off their shoulders once again, telling the Bucks and FTR that they need to figure out who's going to face them, kind of building that up, and does pretty well. So obviously, them boys too, advancing in the storyline here. 55 is pretty solid for us. We got a really kind of underwhelming match with Maddie and Jordynne Grace. This was a squash match to build up Jordynne Grace, so it is what it is. 39 actually is higher than I thought it would be, but especially seeing Maddie's 17, Jesus. Oh man. So Jordynne Grace handily defeats Maddie in 6 minutes with submission. We're building her up as a monster heel. She's number one contender already for the Women's Division Championship. She'll be facing eventually, we don't know when, but eventually going to be facing our current champion, Mercedes Martinez. So we want to build Jordynne up as sort of a monster for either Mercedes to slay or Jordynne to take the belt from. We'll have to see how it goes. After that, we have a backstage angle. It does okay. I thought this would have done better. I did modify Dalton and Joe Hendry and a couple people's stats to what I think they should have been. A lot of them were kind of understated, so I'm actually still shocked that we only got a 46. But popularity does play a factor in all of these ratings, so that always is a problem with trying to get a fair measurement of ability. So Castle's backstage in the interview area of it's the area with the Ring of Honor logo pasted over and over again on the wall where you can kind of rant at the screen. The boys are there. The boys are fanning him with a fan. And Castle's all just lit up, right? Because Hendry just kind of shat on him earlier, and he goes, Joe Hendry! Joe Hendry has a lot of nerve. Did I lose last week? Yes. But not fairly. Oh, no. Hendry had to call in some muscle to stop me. Well, if he wants a numbers game, he can get one. Because there's a lot more of us here than there are him. So that's why next week we are going to have a handicap match. Me and the boys versus him and his big, bulging slab of meat. Because I will let you know now, I will not let this stand. I will be on him like white on rice until he shows me the respect I deserve. And I will make him admit that I am the most entertaining Ring of Honor wrestler ever. And Dalton starts kind of fanning himself with his hand. He goes, God, it's hot in here. He's like, someone bring me some GD ice water. So, Dalton is fired up. He wants a handicap match, him and the boys versus Hendry and Gazim. Probably not going to go his way. But, we have the feud going between Dalton and Hendry. That's shock. I must not said it right. This should have actually advanced the storyline, but that's fine. Gets a 46. It's not bad. Again, I kind of expected more. We have a fairly solid technical match. Unfortunately, it was kind of poorly placed. Crowd was a little too rowdy. I really didn't expect him to be that rowdy. So we got a penalty. Could have been better, but still pretty good. Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta versus Minoru Suzuki and Tracy Williams. This is a very sports entertainment type match, but it's kind of the type of match I would expect a Tony Khan run Ring of Honor to put on. It's decent, good wrestling, had good reaction. We have Suzuki and Garcia obviously are going to be having a match in the future. Garcia won the cup and had the choice of any title owner, and he chose Suzuki because it was more important for him to fight him and to prove himself. And obviously, Wheeler Yuta's got a little bit of beef after losing that tournament to Tracy Williams, who went into the finals, his former tag partner. In this match, things get a little bit more heated for Yuta because Tracy Williams actually gets the win and submits Yuta with a Texas Cloverleaf. So we kind of preserve the Suzuki-Garcia dynamic, and we build a bit on the Yuta-Tracy Williams situation. So Hot Sauce and Yuta, Hot Sauce getting that win over him. All of them are fantastic, like hella great performances all around. Can't complain. Gained heat for both storylines. Again, pretty much the perfect storm. And then the match segment's good. It just could have been even better if we had a better flow going into it. It was a highly technical match, which makes sense for all the competitors involved. Afterwards, we have a little bit of a breakdown of the events, and there's a bit of a fight. Because what we end up having is Tracy Williams getting that quick pin, or that quick submission, actually. He got Yuta in a compromising situation, forced him to tap. And he immediately breaks away. He smirks. Now, he is a heel, but, he's not like a heel, or he isn't a foundation, but like he's still a friend to Yuta. He smirks. It's kind of like a friendly one-upmanship. He offers him a hand, which crowd liked, to help him pick him up. Yuta, though, looks pissed, and he does take the hand, but he seems reluctant to it. Williams kind of gives Yuta kind of a pat on the back and says something to him. We can't hear it because obviously the mic's not on him. And then Yuta walks away from him, and it seems like they were trying to talk, and Williams was trying to talk to him, but Hot Sauce couldn't get through with him. Yuta was pissed off and just walks right to the back. Meanwhile, Garcia is staring at Suzuki and squaring up with him, looking eager to really get his hands on him. They didn't really get a lot of opportunity to do it in the match. And Suzuki looks at him and has sinister smiles starts forming on his face. He holds up the television championship, kind of just going like, hey, you want it? I'm right here, baby. And Garcia throws a punch, and the two just start going back and forth, fighting. It's exactly what Suzuki wanted. The two go back and forth until Suzuki finally manages to get him into that Gotch-style pile driver and then laying out Garcia. So we build up the feud there. We build up this feud here. And yeah, that does pretty good. I'm really happy with this segment. Really happy with the match overall. Did pretty okay. And then we move to our final segment, which is our main event, which didn't really have much of a story. Just sort of there, giving Samoa Joe a win. Unfortunately, Joe is just tiring. The difficulty for him in Ring of Honor here is he does not have the stamina anymore to be in these matches, and he needs to be in 20-minute matches because he's a star. So we have a problem there. Overall, though, he still did well. He did a 59. Lee had a 50. I don't know how much he got penalized for stamina. He just got penalized for it. So still doing well. Like, he can still put on a match, but he's definitely not at his best at that point. But unfortunately, we don't really have a choice because we're going to get penalized probably harder for having a shorter match than having a long match and having him look blown out by the end of it. So it is what it is. Got the crowd buzzing. Joe defeats Lee Moriarty, gets us a 52, which is pretty okay for this. Lee Moriarty actually does really good. My hope was that this loss still with Joe helps boost up Lee Moriarty and makes him like a really strong upper mid-carder in a couple weeks. So that was kind of the goal for this. And obviously it's just to give Joe a win. It's a fighting champion. It's not a championship match, but we want him to stack some wins in, build up some people. So that was sort of the intention here. Gives us a 48. It's not the best we've done. We've had better, bigger shows. This might actually be one of the lowest scoring that we've had. We'll have to take a look at it. But that's fine. I think we did what we needed to do. We didn't upset anybody, it looks like. And we've gained popularity. And we moved and advanced a lot of stories. So overall, even though it's a lower score, I'm still pretty happy with this episode. All right, we do have some mails. Go ahead and take a look. AQA made extension offered. AEW, that's fine. So we had 442,000 viewers, which is pretty good. These are old ones that we didn't delete. So overall, I think the show probably it went down really well. Viewers said it was excellent. So, we're probably harder on ourselves than what the game is in terms of our ratings. So overall, it did pretty okay. We actually made some money off of that because we were 11,000 in debt. So we actually gained some revenue with that show. Can't be too upset about that at all. In terms of show history, it probably was one of the underperformers. I'm trying to remember what our about average. Yeah, it's still one of the underperformers. It's not the lowest, but it's the second lowest. So that is what it is. Not really the end of the world for us. But it's fine. Interesting that there were no buys on Fight. It's like zero buys. So obviously HBO I'm just looking at the Resurrection. Sorry if you guys were listening and you thought that was a random one. I'm just looking at this and I was like, well, how did we get no buys for that pay-per-view? Well, apparently HBO only has subscribers, so that makes sense. And Fight TV, nobody bought it. So yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem for us, but that is what it is. All right, guys, thank you for joining me. Pretty good episode, pretty happy with it, and I will see you next time for another episode.